Thank you. Hello everybody, my name is Craig Bennett, and today we're doing another Android tutorial, and this is Android tutorial number 11. Now, as far as this goes, we're going to focus on how to put your Android icon as far as what's going to show up on the Google Play Store and also in the app drawer on the actual application. And one thing that this is going to really require is for you to go out of your way and actually go and make your own icons. Unfortunately, you may or may not have the skills for this. You don't have to have something too advanced, but you could use what's default, but it's not good practice. Let's put it that way. Now, on the Android Studio, one thing you'll notice is if you go down to the Resource tab, then the Min Map, then go to IC Launcher. Basically, if you click on any of these, this is the icon that comes with making your application, and it's been that way for a while. One thing you may notice if you're not a graphics artist person is the checkerboard. And what that means is the checkerboard area is transparent. So when you're seeing that on other things, say for example, if you're looking for a transparent image on Google, you might notice a checkerboard, and you can actually figure that one out. So what we're seeing here is a bunch of different icons, and you might be asking, why is this icon, or at least the picture, being repeated several times? And this is by default. This is without me adding anything in. Same thing with you. You'll notice it's like this. Well, what's basically happening is Android, it has a ability to be smart enough where it can take one icon and rescale it. However, to make things easier and to make sure that you get the best icon for the ability, well, what's happening is it has different resolutions for each icon. So we got a high DP, then if we go to the extra high, and one thing we'll do is for the bigger devices, for example the Android laptops and some of the other things, it would use some of the higher end pictures, whereas some of the smaller end phones, say a 2 or 3 inch phone, or maybe some small icon on the app drawer or something like that, you'll use one of the lower ones because it doesn't need the higher one. Again, you can take one image and have it rescale it, but that's not the best of practice. Now, a quick way to get to this in your Windows computer or other computer in order to switch out these icons is right click the IC Launcher, and you can do this with any folder, by the way, and go down to Show in Explorer. On other operating systems it might say something a little bit different, and you'll be presented with this. It basically, what will happen is in each one of these it will actually have the image. So what you would need to do is simply replace the image. Simple as that. So and another thing before I forget, if you do edit the image, say for example if you edit in Paint or whatever, that takes out the transparency. You will need to use specialized software to do that. Now, I have a video on a free program, a free paint software. It's actually very easy to use too, but something you can use to make a transparent icon. And why would you want a transparent icon? Well, it adds an extra bit of flavor to the system, because keep in mind, where Apple stuff is usually square icons, so it's okay to have a square icon. With Android, it's not that case. You have it takes the transparent, and some icons can be circle, some icons can have weird shapes to it, and so on. So it adds to the what would be normal for Android. And I have a feeling with other operating systems it's going to change into that. But anyways, I'll be right back with my changes. So after replacing it, and you can replace the file all entirely. You can see here, this is the new icon. Now, one thing you can do, in case if you're not 100% sure, is you can actually go and just do a slight rename on all the stuff, or back up the stuff to something else. But by doing a slight rename, it just by changing one character, as long as you can tell that you changed one character, the code will be looking for a very exact character, specifically the IC_launcher. If you change it by one character, then that makes it where it will see it or it won't see it. It's very important to realize that. But anyways, as far as that goes, you may go back to Android Studio and you'll find that the image has not changed. There's one or two things you need to do. Is simply you can close the tabs, then simply open it back up, and then if that doesn't work, then do a rebuild. And to do that, just do a build and then rebuild project. But as you see here, we didn't even have to rebuild it. We just had to close the tab and open it back up, and we're good to go. And again, like I said before, you have the checkerboard background, and that means that that area where you're seeing the checkerboard is transparent, and that's what we're looking for. So now, how do we know if the icon took in place and what it looks like? What we're going to be using is the emulator, and like before, I'm going to be using GenMotion. Now, with this, you can be using any emulator. What I would recommend at this time, running the emulator and running the application within there, which I've already done. And you can see here, we are checking it. What you can do is, if you go to the app drawer, go to the app, press and hold if you can, you should be able to put it on the screen. But one thing I want to mention is you can actually modify the transparency. So if we go right here, you can see a little bit of a transparency, and if we wanted to, depending on your emulator, you can even change the background to help see the transparency. But as you see here, you can see a little bit of drawing. And to show it a little further, you can see right there. The reason why I picked this particular icon is it shows that you can have the square but have a certain level of transparency, where if you take a look at the settings icon, which naturally comes with the Android, and this may look different from phone to phone from the manufacturer, but you can see that it has a full transparency. Now, no matter what, it's still a block icon, but you have the transparency from there. So it's very important to realize that in making your icon. And you can change this over time. So if you're doing updates and you didn't like what you put out, say 2 months ago, and you want to update your application that's already on the marketplace, you can easily do that. It's not that hard. All you have to do is change that, change the version number, and update it on the store, and update some of the icons on the store itself so they reflect, and there you go. But anyways, with that being said, my name is Craig Bennett, and I'm the founder and owner of TechFuse Help. And if you do have any questions on this, feel free to leave them down there in the comments section, and I'll try to get to this as quickly as possible. And keep in mind, these videos will come out once to twice a week. And feel free to check out the next one, and I'll see you in there.